Hey everyone, it's Docfire, and it's time for another Docfire Down and Dirty overview. When I mean overview, it's not a review. It's usually an overview on a product that either I'm currently carrying or going to be carrying on DocfirePaintball.com. And today I have a Docfire custom rag tester or a rag gauge, and this is will allow you to check the pressure of your output of your tank rag, or like an inline rag. So when you're doing maintenance or whatever. Let's go through some of the features on it. First off, it has a 1 to 1000 gauge, 1000 PSI gauge on it. And the reason I do the 1 to 1000 is when I find out on the higher pressure gauges, the scale is too coarse. It's not fine enough. So you don't know if you're at 250 PSI or 240 PSI. It gets kind of rough. And so what's nice is that if you're going to go, service a marker, you can take the rag off, screw it into this, see what your pressure is, write that down, then take it off, take your rag apart, service it, and then put it back to that pressure. Now, granted, there are some drawbacks on this, and I'm not going to deny that if you have a rag that is not operating correctly, you can potentially blow out a gauge. But the gauges can be available and be able to be purchased at DocfirePaintball.com. And if a person wants a higher gauge, all they would have to do is message me, and we would be able to take care of that for you on finding a higher gauge for you to buy. But anyway, let's kind of go through how it works. There's nothing really fancy here. I have a 1 to 1000 gauge. It has a port on the other side if you want to add another gauge or another feature to it. And we're using a CP on-off, a bleeding on-off. That is for a remote line, and it's a really nice product. It's really small. You can see in my hand it's actually a really tiny item, which is nice. So let's see how it works. We have our powerhouse regulator here. We're going to screw it in, and we'll see what this is set at. Go here, and this is set at right at about 740, right around that, 740, 750, give or take. What's nice, bleeds off. That allows you to unscrew it. And then if you want to check out what your rag is, you screw in your rag. And the one thing when you screw in your rag is you want to make sure that you screw this cap down at least 3/4 of the way down. It doesn't have to be all the way down. And that makes sure it's not in its bleed mode. We're going to connect a macro line to this rag. We'll gas up this, and this rag is set at about 220. And it's nice because it has scales of, the scale is set at 20 PSI between each mark on it. So that's really nice. The other thing you can do is you can kind of cycle the rag. Get it here, and if I unscrew this cap just a little bit, you hear it pop. You can find right where it releases. You can kind of cycle the rag on and off real quick if you want to. And when you're done, you're gonna degas the macro line, then degas that, and you're done. So these are gonna be available at DocfirePaintball.com. Don't hesitate, go check them out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate, hit me up on Facebook. Docfire out.